Today's topic is management theories. Welcome. I am Dr. Pushpalata, working as professor in Department of Management, Aurora's PG College, Hyderabad. Let us discuss today the Frederick Taylor's theory of scientific management. As we all know, there are so many management theories, and these management theories are nothing but they are the set of general rules that guide the managers to manage an organization. So, these theories help us to assist the employees to effectively relate to the business goals and implement effective means to achieve the same. So it means that the management theories are guiding the organizations to reach their goals, to increase the efficiency and work effectively in the organization and provide some direction for smooth functioning of the organization. So one of the famous theory which has almost changed the direction of the management was theory of scientific management. So coming to scientific management, what this theory is telling us. It is a theory of management that analyzes and synthesizes workflows. So here the main objective of scientific management was to improve the economic efficiency, especially labor productivity. So the main objective was to increase the profits of the organization. So if at all we want to increase the profits of the organization, what we are supposed to do? We have to increase the production activity. So if at all we want to increase the production activity, we have to produce more number of goods. So automatically what is that resulting into labor productivity. So what was the objective of scientific management? It has considered that to gain the profits, definitely we have to see that labor is more productive. It was one of the earliest attempts to apply science to the engineering of processes and to the management. So he tells that whenever we have to increase the labor productivity, labor was also considered as a machine. So here we have to apply the science of engineering of processes and to the management. So he began his study in the years of 1880s and 1890s with the manufacturing industries. Right, the competition was more and more in the period of 1910s and 1920s, wherein there was an increase in the competition. And with this, complementary ideas have come into. There was so many challenges that the organizations were facing on. So, in that particular aspect, F.W. Taylor has specified the scientific management as a distinct theory or a school of thought which was obsolete by 1930s. Right. So here he has considered major aspects: analysis, synthesis, logic, rationality, empiricism, work ethics, efficiency, elimination of waste, standardization of best practices, disdain for tradition, preserved merely for its sake or protect the social. So you can see here, if at all you remember the topics: job analysis, job description, job specification. So these all topics have derived after the scientific management theories only. Right, we see work ethics. Work ethics are what to do in work, what not to do in the work. Then we have seen standardization. So standardization was also a revolution in the production aspects, and that also came in the era of scientific management. So let us go into detail about the theory. This is the essence of scientific management. Before we go into scientific management, let us know something on F.W. Taylor. F.W. Taylor was born on March 20, 1856, and he died on March 21, 1915. Right, see here, the wonder is he was born on March 20 and he died on March 21. He was an American mechanical engineer who sought to improve industrial efficiency. What I told, his main objective was to increase the labor productivity. So he was always aiming at increasing the industrial efficiency. He was being called as father of scientific management. So there are always questions whether you are going for any of the PSU examination or any of the management examinations. Most of the times we get a question, father of scientific management. So just remember, F.W. Taylor was the father of scientific management. His approach, whatever he has suggested, that approach is known as Taylorism, right? The monograph of the book was published in the year 1911. Then goals of F.W. Taylor. So what were the goals? He was always trying to see that to point out through a series of simple illustrations the great loss which the whole country is suffering through inefficiency. What I told, most of the organizations were inefficient. So he want to just prove out that what were the reasons through besides this inefficiency. Then second was to try to convince the reader that the remedy for this inefficiency lies in a systematic management. So he was the first man who was telling that rather than just uh, breaking our heads for decision making, I am telling that the remedy is not very tough. It is only the systematic management that we have to follow rather than searching for some unusual or extraordinary man. Then the third was to prove the best management is a true science. That is, he was the first person to connect the engineering with the human performance, and he was telling that we have to have some defined rules, regulations, and principles as a foundation. So these three were the goals of F.W. Taylor, which made him evolve the scientific theory. Principles of scientific management. This is again one of the question that is always asked in the examination. Which is not a principle of scientific management, or which of the following are the principles of scientific management? In this way, you may be asked questions. So what are the principles? Replacement of old rule of thumb method. So whatever the old rules are, they have to be now replaced. Scientific selection and training of workers. So he was the first person to tell that if at all we want some job efficient, we want some production efficiency, some effective person have to be recruited. So we have to scientifically select who is best in what. Suppose a person is very good at cutting, you try to recruit him for cutting only, not for sewing the cloths or for stitching the cloths. So you try to see that in which area he is specialized, and you scientifically select the particular employee and provide the training for the workers to increase the efficiency. Then he also told that cooperation between labor and management. There should be always an integration or coordination between a labor workforce and the management. Otherwise, we cannot increase the labor productivity. Then the aim was to go with maximum output. So for that reason, he has come out with the differentiated piece rate system, because to motivate the employees, he has told that if at all you are producing more number of outputs, you will be paid more. So that was the principle of maximum output. Equal division of responsibility. So he was telling that every employee have to bear the equal responsibility for the production aspects. So these are the five principles. What is first? Replacement of old rule of thumb method, scientific selection and training of workers, cooperation between labor and management, maximum output, equal division of responsibility. Coming to techniques, this you have to always remember, because what are the different techniques of scientific management which made increase the efficiency of the organization. Right, first is scientific task testing setting. It is essential to set the standard task which average worker should do during a working day. So as I told, we all know that we are working for 9 hours a day. Who has fixed this 9 hours a day? Can't you work for 12 hours a day? Can't you work for 15 hours a day? So this was being found out by the tailor, that average tendency of the worker, whatever he is efficient in, was 9 hours per day. So he has come out with a standard task telling that how many hours the average worker should work. So it is known as fair days work. Then another technique that was been followed was work study. So work study is what? How the work have to be designed, how the work have to be organized, what are the different types of series of actions of work have to be designed, how the work analysis should be, how the work should be assessed to increase the efficiency of various operations. So for this he has specified different studies known as method study, motion study, time study, fatigue study. So here method study is what methods will make our work simplified. Motion study is our body is having several movements. So when because of these several movements, what type of motions are easily flexible for our body? What type of tasks we can do easily? What types of tasks will make us tired? So everything will be studied in motion study. Time study, in what time frame you are going to complete your work is considered as time study. Fatigue study. Fatigue means what? We are becoming dull, or we are becoming weak because of so much of work. So after what time we become lazy, we become inoperant, we become ineffective. So whatever that aspects are been considered in fatigue study. So he was the first to analyze how the work have to be designed, and for that he has used different techniques known as method study, motion study, time study, fatigue study. Then the third technique was planning the task. So planning the task should be separated from the executive function. So he was telling that whatever the administrative function are there, right? So that particular thing, the planning should be separated from the executive functions, that is from the top management. Standardization. So this was again a revolution in scientific management, which was focusing on increase in the productivity. So what do you mean by standardization? Easy way of doing the tasks. So here standardization of tools and equipment, cost system, several other items. We can see now a simple example of standardization I will tell. Earlier, if at all I have to operate my bike or car, I used to carry nearly 4 to 5 keys. One is for the handle, one is for petrol, one is for the side gear, right? So everything we used to carry 4 to 5 keys. But now if at all I see a bike, everything is under one key. There is only one key which is helping us, so that is known as standardizing or automation of tools and equipments. Effort should be made to provide standardizing work environment. Then scientific selection and training. So what I told here, the scientific selection and training was wherein we were talking about the right men at the right job. So that is the role of HR, to select the right person for the right job. If at all I am very good at dance and you are being recruiting as a singer, how can I perform? Right. So here definitely the right person should be selected for a right job. Then we are having differential piece weight system. The another rule was higher outcome. So for higher outcome or for increased output, the tailor has suggested differential piece wage plan. This plan was suggested to attract highly efficient workers. So suppose I am there, I may nearly produce 10 units. You are there, you cannot produce more than 5 units. So to attract my competency, to attract my level of output, I was being given a differential piece wage plan. Whoever are producing more, they will get higher return. So there are two piece work rates, one is lower and another is higher. So depending on the time and motion study, these rates were been defined and it was been allocated to the employees, and that is nothing but whatever we are today calling the incentive structure. That is, a standard employee can sell 10 units, normal. That is normal. If a higher efficient employee can sell 20 units. So for that, he is getting an extra payment. That is nothing but an incentive. So you see, the concept which was there in 1920s has been now told as incentives. Specialization. So as I told, to increase the efficiency, I have to be specialized in some aspect. So I was been provided some training so that I can be more and more specialized and I can do work effectively. Suppose I am very good at cutting. Better is I I get specialized in cutting so that I can increase my productivity. Benefits of scientific management. As I told, replacement of traditional rules were being replaced by scientific techniques now. New methods have come into existence and my productivity has increased. Because of proper selection and training of workers, the efficiency was increased. Then there was a very good harmonious relationship between the workers and management. As I told, it is a systematic approach. Detailed instructions were being followed. Constant guidance was given to the workers. Because of differential piece rate system, incentive wages to the workers for higher production was given. Because of standardization, what happened? We used to utilize the various resources and we were been eliminating the wastage. Satisfaction of the needs of the consumer. Because we have increased the productivity, we were able to produce qualitative goods, and this led to satisfaction of the needs of customers. Thank you.